This isn't just Arya's revenge, it's the payoff fans have been craving for seasons. After all the pain, all the waiting, she finally takes back the justice the Starks deserve.
My name is Arya Stark. I want you to know that. The last thing you're ever going to see is a Stark smiling down at you as you die.
She accomplished what every Stark wanted, but none could achieve. From the day she fled Winterfell, Arya carried pain, loss, and loneliness on her shoulders. But all that struggle, all those nights on the run, forged her into the unshakable force she is now. Killing Walder Frey with her own hands was just the opening act. At River Run, in the same grand hall, Frey once again gathered his entire family, raising his cup in triumph, certain of his power. But what he never realized was this: the Red Wedding had failed to wipe out every Stark, and as long as one wolf survives, the flock will never rest easy. Arya, disguised as Walder Frey, slipped poison into every goblet. The slaughter came silently, perfectly executed. Yet she spared the Frey women because someone had to witness the end of their house.
When people ask you what happened here, tell them the North remembers. Tell them winter came for House Frey.
Once Frey's line was erased, Arya turned her eyes to King's Landing. Cersei was next on her list. In her mind, Winterfell was long gone, seized by the Boltons, no longer her home. On her journey south, she stumbled across a group of Lannister soldiers. At first, she expected cruelty, the same brutality she'd seen before. But instead, they were just young men, laughing, sharing food, inviting her to sit. The old Arya would have drawn her sword without hesitation. But now, even with all the skills of a faceless assassin, a piece of her kindness still remained. Just as she had spared the Frey women, she chose to drink and talk with them, like a passerby on the road.
So why is a nice girl on our own heading to King's Landing?
I'm going to kill the Queen.
When she casually gave her name, the air turned tense for a moment, but they all laughed it off, taking it as a joke. No one could imagine that the quiet girl before them had just wiped an entire family off the map. The next day, Arya stopped at the Crossroads Inn, where she reunited with Hot Pie. The same inn, the same familiar face. He offered her a hot meal, and more importantly, a piece of news that changed everything. Jon Snow had won the Battle of the Bastards. Winterfell now flew the Stark banners once again. Hearing that her brother was alive, not just alive, but king in the north, Arya's heart shifted instantly. Revenge could wait. Family came first, because what had kept her alive all these years wasn't only the list of names to kill, but the faces of the family she still longed for. But fate wasn't done with her yet. On the road north, her horse grew restless, and soon she found herself surrounded by wolves. They didn't strike, only waited, and then she turned, and there it was, her dire wolf, Nymeria. Years ago, Arya had driven her away to save her life. Now, Nymeria stood as a pack leader, stronger than ever.
I'm heading north, girl. Back to Winterfell, I'm finally going home. Come with me.
In its eyes, Arya saw recognition, but also distance. Too much time that passed. They could never go back to the way things were. Nymeria left, fading back into the forest. A silent farewell between two survivors. Days later, Arya finally reached Winterfell. This time, there was no danger, no endless struggle. Just warmth, reunion, and peace. Because the Stark children were no longer helpless. Each had grown into a leader in their own right, and Arya, after all her battles, was finally home.